Perfect Changes. Written by Alex Odom, performed by Alex Odom. I am made, formed with the rest of my choir, as all the choirs are called into being by the divine. The divine reveals his nature and ours, and we choose what our song contains and to whom we are singing. A brother of mine, from a choir greater than mine, sings a song which is not in the nature of the divine, and many others are with this creature, choosing this song to sing. I sing with most of the divine's choirs of the divine in his majesty, rejecting that song which my brother calls for. The Spirit and Word flow in the divine way, by the divine will, and I marvel at all that is made. Primary in my vision is the invention of time, that glorious reality which allows change and newness of form. My brother's legion sings in opposition, while I revel in the workings of my Maker. Entering into time, I experienced a sensation I had formerly been incapable of knowing, of being near something which is young. The youth of the universe was unprecedented in all of creation, for the rest of divine creation was not subject to time, and thus unable to age. If you cannot become old, then you are never young, as the dichotomy is not in your nature. While this revelation was glorious, the confusion it caused me was great. Why would the Word have created a mode and means for change? If something is perfect, would not any change destroy that perfection? That is when I noticed the beauty of motion, a concept not available to those outside of time, as it is a time-dependent reality. This was beauty in motion, change itself as perfection. The eternal wisdom of the divine is truly marvelous to have created such a place where things are in constant change without a loss in perfection. And oh, how the universe danced before the divine! Energy and matter in a joyous exchange, colors created and destroyed, all the universe joyously dancing before its creator. I was swept up in this dance, and sang to the wisdom of the Word in creating such a mode of praise. I followed a minute creature as it flitted through creation, constantly changing form, contracting and expanding, twirling amongst its brethren as they proclaimed the might of the divine with their infantile exchange of joy. I found joy in the following of so small a thing with such glee in its existence. There came a point in the dance when it slowed, and matter began to coalesce and take shape. As it formed, the dance changed. It was no longer the tumultuous swirling of an infant universe, but a tentative beginning to a much more ordered and intricate dance of praise. Forming matter defined shapes and patterns in the dance, weaving them together to form ever more complex patterns. After following this dance and learning its pattern, I saw the Word come down upon a small member of the dance. Drawing near to see what would be made, I saw creatures which could create. Oh, the unfathomable glory and wisdom of the divine Word in creating things which can participate in creation. Exploring what had been made, I was captivated by the beauty of these creatures, not just in sight, but in sound and smell also. Oh, the smells of just one of the many growing things contained a tale intricate and beautiful enough to give reason for the whole of this creation. Even so, the glory of the divine was pleased to create thousands of them, each with its own unique and glorious scent. Then I turned to listen more completely to the chorus of moving things as they joined in the song to their creator. Such varied notes mingled amongst those moving creatures. Some sang high, others sang low. Some sang long and melodiously, others sang short and simply, and yet all sang for his glory. As I marveled at this, the Word came again and formed and breathed into a new being, giving it a nature like unto mine in will. Unlike the other moving creatures, this being would not merely follow what had already been done, but would choose the mode of praise it brought to the divine. How gracious the divine is to grant to this, a part of creation, the beautiful capacity to dance a new dance and sing a new song to its creator. As the creatures sang and danced, I saw its relation to the universe. This was to be the master, steward, and servant of the dance I had been learning. This being would serve the dance, and the dance would serve it. Overjoyed at this, I once again joined the dance to see all that the Word had made, and how its new master would begin to shape and conduct its movements of praise. I saw the universe rejoicing in its newfound purpose, and the wonders of which it may become a part. I reveled in the joy of the universe, but the dance faltered. The perfectly balanced patterns that had been were shifted, and the balance was destroyed. Matter had whirled in perfect harmony. Now that harmony was corrupted. The universe would now decay and destroy itself. The tears I wept were of the deepest sorrow. The dance continued, but was no longer the perfection it had been. Turning away, I cried out into the void of the unmade. What could have caused the destruction of such beauty? Who would wish such perfection to be lost, and so brutally? I wept over all that had been lost, and cried out to the divine that it might be returned. In reply, I received a sigh of such sadness as to break the hearts of all who heard it. None but the divine can know such sorrow, as no other being loves with the divine's perfect love. It was some time before I could once again look upon the universe I had loved and danced with, as it flowed unblemished from the mouth of the divine word. When I did, it was with great effort that I continued gazing upon such broken beauty. Remembering the steward, I returned to see what had become of it at the stumbling of the dance. Coming upon the land from whence the steward had been formed, I found only some of my brethren surrounding the land as if protecting it from something. Curious, I inquired as to what could have led to such a thing being asked of them. Hearing the tale, I wished I had not asked. For a time, the steward had served the divine rightly, but the steward was incomplete, alone, not finding any of the moving creatures to be worthy of his partnership. Therefore the divine formed out of him another steward, and she was found worthy of being companion and partner to the first, as she was his equal, having been formed out of him. Together, these stewards served faithfully for a time, and it was good. Until my brother, the traitor, envious of the universe the stewards had been given, deceived them, causing them to break from the true path of praise which is the task and glory of all those the divine's creatures. Lying to them, and using his power, he led them to doubt the divine's nature. They believed the divine to be limiting them, and so they strived for greatness separate from him, thus destroying their union with him. The union broken, they could not stay, nor can they return. Therefore, my brothers keep watch. How could the traitor have done such a thing as this, taking from these beings the perfection they were given? By his evil they were led astray. By following him they ceased following the divine. Why does my brother hate him so, tricking his creatures into denying the source of their life? I wept as I saw their pain and corruption. Having been wrenched from the source of their life, they cried out for his return, though it was they who had left. Upon hearing of their crimes, their pain, and their death, I let out a wail as I had never done before, and I begged that this creation had never been created. The pain of its corruption was more than could be borne by any living being. I cried out, begging to be spared this sight and memory, until the word came to me and said, "My child, you who know my sorrow, this my creation is not beyond hope. Oh, that it had stayed as it was. It would have brought such beauty as had not been known. But it was not to be. I knew of your brother's plans, and knew what destruction they would cause. I allowed him to carry them out. just as I allowed those of my choirs to flee from me at their choosing. Without such allowance, what love you gave to me would not have been yours. The same is true of these. Unlike those choirs of mine who turned from my love, these stewards of mine may yet return to me. I will go to them as they are, and offer them healing of their souls, that they may have another chance to turn to my love. You, my child, shall be called Gabriel, and you will bear my message to them, announcing my coming. Well, thanks for watching, and if you liked, like it. If you have a comment, leave a comment. If you think somebody else should see it, share it. If you want to see where this channel goes, because I don't know either, hit subscribe. Look forward to whatever my next video happens to be.